Without objection.
I'm here today to discuss the Tax Increase Prevention Act. We're now getting down to the end of the year. It's important that we get our work done. An important part of that work is passing the Tax Increase Prevention Act. It's often referred to as the Tax Extenders Package, but what it really does is it extends tax credits and deductions used by small businesses across this country. The Tax Increase Prevention Act will extend for 1 year 55 different tax credits and deductions that expired either at the end of 2013 or during 2014. This is a bill that's already passed the House, and it passed with a huge margin, with a bipartisan vote of 378 to 46. One of the most important provisions in the Act is the Section 179 expensing and depreciation provision for small businesses. That's a provision I particularly want to focus on today and talk about and discuss why it's so important for our small businesses and in fact, for our entire economy. Section 179 allows farmers and other small businesses to expense and depreciate property they've purchased or repaired for their operations. That's important to them so that they don't see a tax increase, but it also keeps our economy going. Without it, small businesses will buy and repair less equipment, slowing down our manufacturing base and slowing down our economy. Quite simply, that means fewer jobs. It's not only because small businesses' costs are increased, but it's also because of the uncertainty that's created when they don't know the rules of the road. And that's why this fix needs to be done on a permanent basis, And I think it could have been done on a permanent basis this year. We were working on a deal until the president threatened to veto that legislation. And so now we've got a 1-year fix. But we've got broad support in this chamber for the 1-year fix. And we need to pass it. We need to pass it now and then go back to work on a permanent fix next year. I was home for the weekend about a week ago, and I was talking to some of the farmers in our state. They told me what they've been telling me for some time now, and that's that they need the Section 179 expensing and depreciation, and they need to know the rules of the road, and they need to know it now. We're at year end. We're at year end. They're doing their year-end planning. They're doing their tax work. Some are still negotiating on buying equipment for next year. The depreciation and expensing rules affect the decisions that they make and will also affect the number of jobs in our economy. Agriculture alone is responsible for 16 million direct and indirect jobs in our economy. 16 million. Ag is also a sector of our economy that produces a positive balance of trade. And American agriculture provides the highest quality, lowest cost food supply in the world, something that benefits every single American every day. But Section 179, expensing and depreciation, is important for other small businesses as well. And it's not just small business. It helps keep our large industries going too. For example, Case New Holland, John Deere have manufacturing plants in my home state. They produce tractors, balers, and other equipment. In addition, they also make industrial equipment. So when farmers and other small businesses slow down their purchase of equipment, these manufacturing facilities slow down as well. It means less business, fewer workers needed, fewer jobs. That's how it works. It's that simple. The truth is, small business is the backbone of our economy in this country. The hallmark of America is that it's historically been the best place in the world to do business. It's where everybody has always come to do business. We've always had the best legal, tax, and regulatory business climate. We provided the certainty businesses need to invest, to hire people, to create jobs, and to grow the economy. That's the rising tide that lifts all boats. A higher standard of living for our people and revenue from economic growth, not higher taxes, to reduce our debt and deficit, to get them under control as well. Let's create that certainty for our farmers and small businesses across this great nation. Let's make sure their taxes don't go up. And let's start by passing the Tax Increase Prevention Act and Section 179 expensing and depreciation now. I'd like to close by reading from some of the letters that I've received from some of my constituents. I think so often the hardworking taxpayers of North Dakota, the small business people out there that are getting it done every day, say it best. First one is from Dick Hedall, owner of Bismarck-based Hedall's Auto Plus. He says, without Section 179 and the bonus depreciation, Hedall's Auto Parts would really have felt the pinch last year when we purchased equipment to service diesel-powered trucks and heavy equipment. Since the growth in the Bakken, his services have been especially important because he can save clients thousands of dollars by refurbishing worn diesel engine blocks. What makes the refurbishing possible is the 100% American-made equipment Hedall bought in 2012 and 2013 for $450,000. At a 34% tax rate, he says he wouldn't have been able to make those equipment purchases work. But with Section 179 expensing and depreciation, he was able to make those things work. And as a result, he's providing jobs in the western part of our state. Hedall's Auto Parts employs more than 200 people. Another constituent wrote in, Leon Slaybaugh of Rolette. She writes, quote, I'm concerned about Section 179 and what this is doing to the agricultural sector in North Dakota. Farm equipment is not being sold as the farmers are concerned about the amount that they will have to pay taxes on. I farm with my husband, and I work in a small town farm supply. Farmers have quit spending due to low commodity prices in Section 179. I'm concerned with the effect on our small town economy if Section 179 is not revised. After meeting with our tax consultant, we are concerned with the possible tax liability we are facing and what this means to the future of our family farm. Please push for revision of Section 179. End quote. Dennis Miller, who grew up in Stark County, worked for an ag equipment dealership for 28 years, is similarly concerned. I'm going to paraphrase from his letter. 4 years ago, he started his own business, Southwest Ag Repair Incorporated. He sells new McCormick tractors and repairs all brands of farm equipment. He has 6 employees. Mr. Miller wrote to me earlier this year, anxious about the expiration of Section 179. Quote, it's going to cut sales of farm equipment drastically if the farmers don't get a tax incentive to purchase equipment, end quote, Mr. Miller wrote. Quote, the loss of sales will create backlash in the economy throughout the state and the country. There has to be a better way to create the tax revenue. And Mr. Miller, there is. You create tax revenue with economic growth, not higher taxes. Just like you create jobs, create economic activity. Again, that rising tide that lifts all boats, that's when it enables us to invest in the future of our country, in roads and bridges, our schools, and all the things that people want for this great nation. But it comes from a growing economy. And of course, that's what creates the jobs that we need for our families across America. So when we talk about the Tax Increase Prevention Act, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about making sure here at the end of the year the taxes don't go up. The taxes don't go up on hardworking taxpayers across this country. The taxes don't go up on our small businesses across the country, and that we understand that is truly the backbone of our economy. That all those people and all those small businesses are the ones that make our economy go every day, every minute of every day. So it's time to act. It's time to act. The votes are here. The votes are here on a bipartisan basis in this body to get it done. Let's get it done. Our American citizens, our hardworking taxpayers have waited long enough. With that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.